Hello YouTube, welcome back to Pokemon TCG Center. In today's video I'm gonna show you quickly my deck list. This is my version of Pikachu&Zekrom deck that I used in today's tournament. 5 rounds, 14 players, managed to win 4 rounds and lost 1. At the end I had 4 wins and 1 defeat with finished at 3rd place. My friend who played pretty much similar deck list to this won with 5 wins. He had Lucario as a tech, so he can actually counter other Pikachu&Zekrom decks. With this deck, I played first round versus Blacephalon, and I actually lost best of 3, 2-1. Game number 3 was completely disaster for me. I bricked, I couldn't get draw support, or I lost. Game number 2 I won. Game number 1 I lost as well. But that game number 3 in best of 3 was just such a disaster for me. Then I played versus Gengar Mimikyu and Giratina Melamar deck, won both rounds. Then I played versus Lost March, won as well. Then I played versus Boswell and Garbodor, also won that round. And I also played against, I don't remember actually what was in the 5th round that I played. So actually, I'm gonna go quickly through my deck list. So I played, as usual, 1 Tapu Koko with Dance of the Ancients. I guess we don't need to talk too much about this card. There was also 1 Absol in this build as well. Good because you can force your opponent to pay 1 extra retreat cost. With Tapu Koko Dance of the Ancient, you can send Tapu Koko in the Lozan and then attach 2 energies from your discard pile to different, one of each of those energies to 2 different of your benched Pokemons. Marshadow Let Loose, always good card for the tech as well. 1 Energy Evolution Eevee and 1 Jolteon GX. I mean, Jolteon GX for me actually managed to carry a game against Lost March. I mean, with Electro Bullet in the early stage of the game, I managed to take the knockout and spread 3 damage counters as well on the Nadu. In the mid game, I also was able to use Swift GX and buy myself an extra turn, and that actually saved my ass against Lost March. 1 copy of Tapu Lele with the Wonder Tag. Then I also played 1 Tapu Koko GX with the Arrow Trail. In game number 3, actually, he carried the game for me as well versus Lost March. I mean, it is a very useful card with that Tapu Thunder GX, no doubt about it. I also ran 1 Zeraora GX with Thunderous Club Zone, so I can have that free retreat between my Lightning Pokemons in play. So 1 of each of those cards, as you can see right there. And then I played 2 Stellar Wish Jirachis. Some people like to play 3, some people like to play 4. I ended up playing 2 of them, and to be honest, I didn't need more than 2 of them. From the other attacking Pokemons, I also used 2 Zapdos with Thunderous Assault. Zapdos is actually a very useful card in this build. It can hit for a lot of damage. I mean, if it became active Pokemon, if something else was in the active position, then Zapdos became from the bench to the active position. Then the Thunderous Assault is actually 80. Unfortunately, weakness and resistance are not going to be... Actually, weakness... Actually, this Pokemon damage isn't affected by weakness, you know, so if you can hit for weakness, unfortunately, it's not going to count. But still, with Electro Power, you know, Zapdos can swing for even more damage counters, and that's quite useful as well as with the Choice Band. And last but not least, I also played 2 Pikachu&Zekrom GXs. With that Full Blitz, you can just attach 3 energy cards. I mean, good thing about Pikachu&Zekrom is the fact that you can even use turn 1 Full Blitz if you get lucky with that Tapu Koko, Dance of the Ancients, and if you also have, let's say, that Thunder Mountain in play, then you can Full Blitz, and then turn 2 you can Tag Ball GX and maybe win the game, which is just quite insane. And that's for the Pokemon lineup, as you can see it. Moving on to the stadium cards, I played one Thunder Mountain. It's actually part of this build, you need to have it. And also I decided to run one Viridian Forest. You know, sometimes I just find myself in a position that I needed energy, and actually versus Buzzwole and Garbodor, that Viridian Forest saves my ass as well, because I was able to get energies very often, and my opponent couldn't find stadium for him. I played also one Escape Rope. I also played one Weakness Policy. Weakness Policy mainly because, you know, Lucario that I mentioned earlier, who can simply one-hit knockout Pikachu&Zekrom. And actually, a couple players play fighting deck techs. So my friend who won first place, he played Lucario, and there's also one guy who played Zorg with Lucario and Lycanroc. So that's the reason why I decided to tech one copy Weakness Policy, which is very useful as well, even for you if you play something else, you know, and if you expect to see some Lucarios. 2 copies of a skateboard, mainly for that Jirachi use, but it's very useful for anything else that has only 1 retreat cost, but as long as we have Zeraora, we can retreat for free, as long as we have that lighting energy. I also play 2 choice bands for extra damage, always good to have extra damage. 2 copies of switch cards for the free switch, and also maybe for a treat later if you need, as well as 2 copies of energy switch, always very useful to have energy switch cards, and then 3 copies of Nazball for the setup. You know, with the Nazball you can just easily grab yourself a basic Pokemon, put it on the bench, very useful. I also decided to play 4 copies of Ultra Ball. I actually decided to give big importance to Ultra Ball cards just because I always play 4 copies of Ultra Ball in any type of the deck, because if I play Marshadow, and if I play Tapu Lele, and if I play only 2 copies of Ultra Ball, as some decks play, I'm just not going to have good chance to pull that Marshadow or Tapu Lele if I need it, and this is the only reason why I decided to play Ultra Ball. If I don't play Marshadow and Tapu Lele in this build, I would probably just stick with 4 Nazballs and maybe, you know, 2 Ultra Ball or something like that. Probably I'm not going to need more than that in that case. 4 copies of Electro Power for that extra damage increasement. I was also thinking about 1 Electro Charger, but I couldn't find space to fit him in the build. So with 4 copies of Electro Power, I was able to increase the damage down to my opponent Pokemons by 30, which was very useful. And then moving on to supporter cards, I played 1 Acerola, which I actually didn't use a single time. So it was mainly here for that Jolteon scoop, and also for Pikachu&Zekrom tag team scoop. If none of those Pokemons would be one-hit knocked out, I could potentially play Acerola and then scoop them, but I actually couldn't find that useful, so it was just complete waste space in the build. I would actually have much more chance to win game versus Blacephalon if I actually had Rescue Stretcher, which I didn't. Then I also played 1 copy of Volkner, so maybe even having 2 Volkners wouldn't be that bad, to be honest. We all know what Volkner can do. Volkner is a very good card for this build. You can search your deck for lighting energy and for item card and put it in your hand. It can be Nazball, it can be Ultra Ball, Electro Power, Choice Band, Switch, you know, anything that you actually might need. I also played 2 Cynthias. Mainly because if I play Jirachis, I guess I don't need that many Drow supporters. Due to the in hard tournament, I actually find myself in huge trouble because I bricked versus Blacephalon in round number 3, and I also bricked against Garbodor and Buzzwole in game number 1, but I actually won that game with 6 prize cards to 1. My opponent only drew 1 prize card, but that's because I had barely a lot of luck with my Guzma cards and with double Zapdos in play. 4 copies of Guzma. So I also played 4 copies of Guzma, and then I also played 4 copies of Lily for that extra draw support. The reason why I decided to go with 4 lilies, I was actually originally I played 3 lilies and 3 Cynthias, but then I told myself, well, I think I should actually rather go with 4 lilies, because it's very important for me to get that lily turn 1 so I can have explosive turn 1 setup, and that actually showed out as a good idea. And then if you wonder how many energies that I played, I actually played 11 energies. I was also thinking about maybe just running 10 of them, so I could maybe fit some other tech cards. At the end, I ended up, okay, I will just try to see if I can maybe move that so you can see entire deck. At the end, I actually thought how I should maybe cut one Lighting Energy, one Acerola, so I could have maybe extra space for maybe an extra Cynthia, and maybe even another extra Cynthia where I would just cut, you know, that Acerola as well, you know, or maybe to add just, you know, second or third Waltner as well. But I just decided to keep that, as you can see it right here. So that was the deck list that I used in today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Make sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more videos. Let me know in the comments below what you think about it. Till the next time, have a nice day, and goodbye.